Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Read the show notes. I'm just getting started here. This will be short and sweet, whatever anyone needs help with. Just got out of the shower. My hair's a mess and I have no makeup. So, normally not how you see on the platform. How's everyone today? What's going on? So, where we live, there are at least three wildfires. So the skies have been raining ash for the last like 4 days. It's very disconcerting. And when you look up into the sky, everything's kind of orange and the sun appears orange. And oh, thank you, Beth Ann. Um, I don't feel that way usually. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of disconcerting. And I went outside with my granddaughter yesterday and came in with a massive headache. So not cool. And the conspiracy theorists are claiming that it's arson. I doubt that, but you never know. I live in Utah, and I live in Utah County, which is the county south of Salt Lake City. And it's a mountainous area, and we're in a massive drought. We have been for years. And so, lots of kind of like not as bad as California, but we do have lots of areas that just have lots of brush and dry, you know, weeds and brush and everything. And because it's been so dry, they are just really dry. And so any kind of spark or anything, and you've got yourselves, a brush fire. I think it's mostly brush fires, but then sometimes it does climb up into the mountain areas and start burning trees, which is sad. So it is the season of wildfires, that's for sure. So, and then I guess there's big fires in Nevada and Arizona right now as well, and that affects our area with smoke too. So it's one big smoky mess here. How is everyone else today? Oh, let's see, Ewell to the power of four. You're in Utah County. What city are you in? I didn't know there were very many other Utonians. Let me follow you and go look at your profile. What do you sell? Women's fashion. Okay. Tomorrow, is that your first show tomorrow? Get a thumbnail on there and get something behind. So, Allison, get something behind your name and title and get a thumbnail on your show. Welcome to Selling on Whatnot. So, you're brand new. Well, welcome. Um, oh, well, thank you, Grammy Petals. So it's your second show. Okay, well, welcome. So there's a lot of sellers in Utah now, but not as many as some states. When we first started selling on Whatnot, honestly, I know of one other seller that was here when we were here. So it's grown exponentially. Good morning, Lynn Vintage Villa. How are you? I'm good today. I'm up. I showered. So that's good, right? All right. So, I have to admit that I've been kind of out of it because we're trying to sell our house and move. And so I haven't been paying as much attention to updates and things going on and whatnot as I should have. But if you look in my show notes, the official Whatnot YouTube account is the second starred bullet. Whatnot app is the name of their YouTube account. And there's a video that was posted about 11 days ago from the last Whatnot seller show that they did. And they were talking a lot about updates to listings. And I have mixed feelings about what they did. I don't like the two-page format. Give me your feedback on that. So when you create a listing, it used to be all on one page. Now it's some stuff, then you hit next, and then there's more information that you put in. I think it takes more time. I don't love it. What do you guys think? You don't like the two-page either? Yeah. I mean, I can kind of see that maybe they felt like because they were adding some other because one of the updates is they're adding um suggested weights and suggested things. And so I think they needed more room, but I haven't found those useful at all. And I don't like having to go to the next page. So you just created a listing today for the first time in a while and didn't like it. Okay. So yeah, that's the general consensus that I'm seeing is that people are like, seriously, you have to go to 2 pages. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly. So hopefully they'll improve that even more. And they do have some things coming down the pike, but they've been supposedly coming down the pike for a while, and I haven't seen them yet live. So you've only had the 2 page listings, so you don't know any different. But yeah, for those of us who have the 1 page, it's kind of annoying. Um, so yeah, go to the YouTube channel that is at Whatnot app. It's the second start bullet in the show notes. And pull up that video because they what they do is they have those live shows with Kenny and talk about updates and things to the app. And if you can't watch those live, they post them to YouTube, usually within a couple of days of the show. They're posted, downloaded there, so you can go rewatch them. So there's a lot of good content on there. Also, check your emails. Make sure your Whatnot emails are not going to spam. And the other place that they've been posting is the blog. And the blog um, is the let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth start bullet. I'm actually going to go there. It is blog dot teamwhatnot dot com, and they just posted a couple of articles recently. Let's see. And one of them was kind of a build up to that show, built for live listings. And it says over the next 3 to 6 months, we're laying the foundation for a more intelligent AI powered marketplace. So we've actually been beta testing the AI, and I guess they took it away from me when they did that 2 page thing because it's not there anymore, but apparently that's coming back. So yes, in my shop, there are, in the auction tab, there are tons of cheat sheets, tips, tricks for things. So make sure you go in the shop and look at the auction tab and look at everything that's in there. So it says it starts with listings, not just as a way to describe what you're selling, but as the system that powers discovery, pricing, shipping, and everything in between. So over the next 6 months, they're going to put together things for us to do listings. So what we have right now is part of that process. So yeah, the best place to start reading to get started, Sandra, is honestly the Whatnot Seller Academy, which is the third starred bullet in the show notes. So if you're brand new to selling and you just need like a, Whatnot for Dummies overview, go to the Seller Academy and go through all their tutorials. And then you'll have at least the very basics. And then after that, um, you can start coming to shows like this, going to YouTube, watching things. Be careful about watching all the content on YouTube because there are a lot of either negative things out there or not good advice out there. So take advice from, like, go look at the seller. And if they don't have really good reviews and a lot of sales, don't necessarily want to be listening to their advice. So you want to be listening to advice from sellers who have a lot of sales and who have really good reviews. That makes sense, right? They're obviously doing something right. So, be careful searching on YouTube for whatnot content. Do the official sources first, which is the starred bullets in my show notes. Those are the official sources. Shipping can be a little bit confusing if you've never been a reseller before and you don't understand how the US Post Office works. All right now, all shipping is fulfilled through the post office. If you understand how the post office shipping um, categories work, it's really not that difficult. Um, the thing that's confusing about if you've used Pirate Ship before, Pirate Ship um, uses mostly the postal service, right? So you understand the difference between ground advantage and priority flat rate. That's the main thing to understand are those three things. What's the difference between ground advantage, priority, and priority flat rate? Um, if I don't, I never used it pirate ship exclusively, so I don't know, exactly how that works if you're using it on your own. But I've sold on multiple other platforms. And honestly, when I joined Whatnot, it was the easiest platform to learn how to use of all the platforms I've ever used. And I've used most of them. So there's that. So if you've been a reseller on other platforms, I think you can get it pretty easily. You just have to put in some time to make sure you understand how it works. I think the thing that is confusing to people is that unlike other platforms on Whatnot, people can come to a show and buy multiple items and not it's not like on the Bay or on Etsy or some other platforms where people go in and search for an item and typically only buy one item from a seller. On Whatnot, I think let me think what my record is. This year I had someone buy 55 items from me in one show. Let that sink in, right? 55 items. And I do bundled shipping with the Max 921. So that meant that I had to figure out how the heck I was going to ship 55 items to one person. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it does make shipping a little bit complicated. So you have to understand how Whatnot bundles. Well, if you do flat rate, and 921 max shipping, it's going to bundle everything they buy into one order. And then you have to figure out on the back end how you're actually going to separate that or put it into a larger package. So it's really not that complicated. And having someone buy that many items in a show is rare for almost any seller because most people can't afford to spend that much money in a show, and also, um, you usually don't have enough items that someone wants that they're going to buy that much. So, but it does happen in my category decent amount of times because people buy a lot of fabric. That's what I sell mostly, and so it doesn't, it's not super rare in our category to have that happen. Um, so then the problem is how do you package that? So you have a couple of options. You do what's called unbundling. And unbundling means that you go into that order of, multiple items and you click on that order, and then you open up the items on your sidebar, and you click the ones that you want to separate out. And when you click those and then click on bundle, it then takes the ones that you selected and puts them in a completely separate order. And then you can ship those in a different box. Well, you have to ship them in a different box or package. Um, it will either use one of your free adjustments or charge you as the seller to ship that item, because the person shopping, depending on how you have your shipping settings set, if it was all bundled together, they only paid shipping for a combined package. So then you either use one of your adjustments or you have to pay for the shipping of the additional package. So it just depends. Now, if you don't have your shipping settings set to automatically bundle everything together for one rate, then you just need to make sure you understand how you have to have them set so that it will ideally separate, if they buy more than an X amount of items, it will separate them into separate orders according to what should fit per package. And you have to strategically figure that out. Most people who sell clothing, who sell in vintage categories, who sell, just random stuff from like storage units, they use custom shipping profiles. And custom shipping profiles allow you to specify that you're going to put only a certain number of items per package. And then once that person reaches that certain number of items, then it starts their shipping over again and creates an additional order. So that helps you prevent the problem of having too many items that you have to try and put in one package or unbundle it. So if you think that you're in that situation, then you need to learn how to use custom shipping profiles. Um, and let me show you on the screen. Let me pin my document that kind of helps you figure out if that's the case for you. So this is a document called Choosing Basic Shipping Settings, and it's kind of a question answer guide you thing. So you read what's on there. So I have it pinned. If you tap your screen, tap it again. So tap your screen, tap the picture again, and blow it up, big like this. Then you can take a screenshot of it. And it just says stuff like, well, first of all, it starts out with I mostly sell, because what you sell is what determines what kind of shipping settings you need to have. And then if you sell mostly lighter weight, smaller, or easy to fold and pack together items, then you're going to answer that next question, and you're going to sell probably mostly in flat rate packaging, because 90% of the time, everything you sell is going to be able to go into a ground advantage under a pound or pound and over flat rate packaging. So read through this to kind of get an idea of the basic shipping settings you should probably be using. All right. And then if you go to my YouTube channel, in the show notes, it is the second paragraph. Well, there's a paragraph and then a link and then another paragraph with a talking head next to it. That's my YouTube channel. And I have now 4 different videos on my YouTube channel that are called Don't Sink Your Shipping. And they have a ship emoji in front of them, and you can go and rewatch um, those. I would suggest rewatching the latest 2 of those because they're the most up to date. And they're in my YouTube channel under the lives. So you can go rewatch those. And it kind of does that same thing. It walks you through the whole process of deciding what shipping settings will work best for you. And I would also recommend that you go and watch um, sellers who do seller chats that sell similar items to what you sell, because they're going to have the best advice about how you should do shipping. What Liz likes is in the house. How are you, friend? Look what I have today, hair like yours. I got out of the shower and scrunched my hair. I'm normally on the treadmill, and we're trying to move, sell our house. So my treadmill is packed away over at my mom's garage and not in my house because apparently, a treadmill just is not attractive sitting in someone's family room. So I have not been walking the last couple of weeks. I've probably gained 5 pounds. No, yeah, curly life. So anyway, normally I'm on the treadmill walking when I chat, but today I am not. Anyway, so yeah, go to my YouTube channel, and then also, so like for example, the new person that I just was following, Allison, who said she's going to sell clothing. It's a good idea to go watch someone like Julie Becker, who sells clothing, and she does seller chats regularly. And she's going to give you good advice about how to set your shipping for clothing. Um, versus someone like me who sells fabric. And my advice is going to be best for people who sell fabric items. But I've sold other things too. And you just have to, every time that you're going to do a show that's slightly different than what you normally sell, you need to go through the process of thinking through how shipping's going to work before you do that show. There's a lot of the mistakes that newer sellers make is they don't understand shipping. They have a show, and then on the back end, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is a nightmare because they're trying to ship and everything got bundled together and people bought too much because you were new and you had your prices set low." And there are even new sellers who like panic and just cancel all their orders and give up and never come back. So don't be like that. Make sure you understand how it works before you go live. I would recommend having what's called a private show. So a private show, when you schedule a show, so you actually have vintage. Oh, okay. So that's a whole different ballgame. Vintage can get tricky because you're selling all different kinds of things, sizes, shapes. And so you definitely need to understand how that's going to work. Now, it all changes. Um, oh, you're Tammy's new mom. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I know who you are. So that's exciting. So congratulations, by the way. So you need to know kind of, all the ins and outs of how it all works so that you don't get into trouble with trying to ship things. So what was I just saying? Because now I'm distracted by knowing who you are and excited for you. Let's see. I was talking about um, the okay, someone help me get my brain back. What was I saying right before that? I have that kind of brain now where it's like you get distracted and your thought goes away. You can't remember. I was talking shipping, right? But there was something specific I was talking about. Oh, custom profiles. Yeah. So custom shipping profiles where you can go in and say, oh, private show and custom profiles. Let's talk private show. Okay, when you're scheduling a show, at the very bottom, before you actually save that show and have it go live, there's a spot where you can say that you want to do it as a private show, not a public show. And when you're new, I suggest doing a bunch of those if you need to, at least a couple. And what that is you create a show, but nobody on Whatnot knows about it except people that you send the link to. So you can have private shows, send the link to friends and family who don't live with you. You can't have people from your own IP address buying from you, but send it to friends and family who don't live in your house and have them come and watch the show. And the people in your house can watch it too. They just can't buy from you. Because if you have people buying from you that are on the same IP address, it flags you for shill bidding, which will get you booted off the app because you're not allowed to have family and friends like in there bidding and like artificially bidding the stuff up. But have people buy from you so that you get to practice running auctions and shipping items. So before you ever go live to the public, then you've practiced that and kind of have an idea how it works and, at least the very basics. Okay, custom shipping profiles. Um, Go look it up in help.whatnot.com or frequently asked questions because it will walk you through the whole process of how to set up a custom profile. So if you're selling items where you only want, for example, let's say you have a vintage clock and that vintage clock, is a decent size, fragile. You're going to have to bubble wrap and paper wrap the heck out of it to ship it. It needs to be shipped by itself, right? You don't want it in a box with other items, or there's not going to be room for other items in the box. So you need to create a custom shipping profile for that item that is going to specify that it only can be shipped by itself. So if they buy it, it will tell them right in the listing, and you're going to verbally say this item will ship separately. If you buy other items, you will pay additional shipping outside of this item. Um, so you sell that clock, and then when you go to ship it, if they bought other stuff, it will have, separated the order because you created a custom shipping profile. Let's say you called it clock one. It's the first clock you've ever sold. Clock one, and it's got a certain size of box, a certain weight, and it unbundles it from any other items that they possibly bought, and then you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to separate the clock from the other 20 items that they bought in your show. All right, does that make sense? So, custom shipping profiles are your best friend when it comes to selling difficult to package items, or where you sell so much randomness that you need to be able to have control over when someone buys a specific item, it's going to charge them separate shipping and keep it unbundled. When you're using custom shipping profiles, you need to have your shipping settings set for 1 to 5 pounds priority and 5 pounds and over ground advantage, because that profile will allow them to get charged each time separately for shipping. If you had your shipping settings set at flat rate, and buyer pays max whatever amount, it will unbundle it still, but it will charge you as the seller for the separate shipping, which you can do if you sell enough volume or you have built into the pricing of your items that you're going to cover the shipping. But there again, you have to think that through and determine, do I just want to build the price of shipping into the cost of the item? In other words, the starting bid is whatever I want to make plus what I'm going to get charged for shipping. And then that's just your starting bid. Or would you rather have a lower starting price and have it set so that they're going to pay the shipping? Think that through. A lot of the big volume sellers use the 921 max or whatever because they can afford to, because they sell at such a high volume that they have built into their business model the fact that they're going to cover a lot of the shipping. So a lot of big sellers, I know of one in our category that once told me that they pay over $200 or more per show in shipping because they have their shipping settings set for a max of 921. And then if they have people who buy more than that, they're unbundling it and paying the extra shipping on the extra packages that they have to send. Or when they unbundle it to, or not unbundle it, but change it to a Ground Advantage larger package, they're paying the upcharge between the 921 and whatever it costs to send it in a larger package, Ground Advantage. Okay. You'll pay selling fees on the purchase price. Right. Yeah. So, the selling fees, your commission, your 2.9% um, credit card fee. What is that called? The processing fees. So, yes. So keep that in mind too. So always go through and build into your pricing how you want to do it so that it makes sense for you for your, what you need to make. Where can I find those fees broken down by show? Is that what you're saying? Fees instead of feed? So if you go into your analytics, and let me go and look so when I'm talking, it makes sense. So when you go into the Seller Hub and go to analytics, you can go to shows and it will break down for you what your sales were, what your completed earnings were, how many orders you had, what your average order value was, how much you spent on giveaways, and all of that. And then how many buyers you had, how many first time buyers, it breaks it down that way. Um, oh, but if you want the let's see, where can I find the fees broken down by show? Okay, yeah. So that it doesn't break it down completely, but if you click on the little info next to completed earnings, it will tell you, what's taken out. If you want to see it per order, you have to go to your ledger. And that's under so Seller Hub, and then under, let's see, where is the ledger? Orders. Let's see, no, it's not under orders. Analytics. No, not under, finance. Finance. So under finance, there's a ledger. It's the very first thing under finances. And you can actually see every single order and every processing that they did per order. So like it shows you the amount, and then it shows you your earnings, it shows you the specific charges. So it's a complete list of every charge, or, plus and minus. So it's got green for stuff that is, a positive on your account, and red for a negative on your account. And the negative includes like when you request a payout, that shows that minusing it from your account and sending it to your bank account. So under finance, so Seller Hub, finances, ledger, finances. So Seller Hub, finances, it's where you do your payouts. So when you request to get paid, that's where you're going, is finances. And I'm on the web version. So on your mobile device, you're not going to see as much. So yeah. So go on the web version and go to Seller Hub, finances, and then ledger. And then you've got payouts. You've also now got statements that are pretty detailed. You can download weekly statements, and it has a lot of information on it. So you can download those. That's under finances as well. Okay. So go there to see more details. All right. Um, yeah, and I can't really well, let me show you on here. I can show you so this is the finance page. So see here, Seller Hub, finances right there. And then here's your ledger, payouts, statement and reports, and tax documents. That's what's in there, those four things. And so here's the statements. So see how you can click and download a CSV and download it to like an Excel or something, and you'll be able to see all the details from that entire week. Okay. And see how this one is still active because it hasn't completed yet. So we're still in this week. Okay. All right. So that's where you get all that information. And honestly, for anything with analytics or finances, you really need to use the web version because mobile is very limited as to what you can see on your mobile device. And laptops are even not great because the analytics page, at least for me, doesn't scroll down on a laptop. So I have to use it on my PC to see the analytics um, in full view because otherwise it doesn't let you scroll down. But on the analytics, you can change the date range and to see whatever you want to see. So, like right now, I'm going to go in there and do April 1st to today's date. It's still, there's about today is Tuesday, so there's about a 3-day lag where it won't let you see um, the rest of those days until it's downloaded fully because they have to wait for everything to process. But I can go in and see where I'm at for the last 3 months if I change those dates. So I did April 1st through June 21st. It's showing me my estimated sales. I can change that to other things, earnings. For example, there's a little drop down that says more. I can do estimated average order value. That's a really important number to look at, the average order value, because that's something you really want to be paying attention to. Because in order to show that you have positive growth, you want your average order value to continually be going higher because that means you're having more bids, sourcing better, making, getting the items that people want. Overall, you're learning and growing and getting a higher average order value because the more you sell a single item for per item, that's huge, right? You want your average order value to continually be growing. So really pay attention to that and really pay attention to what you're sourcing, how you're selling it. Maybe you need to be selling things in bundles versus individual items because you make a lot more money per item if you hit a $10 and above mark, right? You understand that how that works because you pay a 30-cent processing fee and 2.9% transaction, or the transaction fee and the processing fee. You pay that on every item. So if you sell a $1 item, you're getting a lot less per dollar than if you sell a $10 item. So really pay attention to your average order value and think through what can I do so that each order is a higher amount so I'm actually making more per item. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah. So pay attention to that. That's another thing you can look at. You can also look at order counts, how many items you're selling. That should be going up as you grow. Um, Looking at, it's really important to look at your shows specifically where you have really good numbers, and go and look at that show and go, okay, why was that show so much better than these other shows? And see if you can learn things that you can do differently. Maybe it's the time of day, maybe it's the day of the week, maybe it's that show you did something really special and curated, and it would just was so much better. So really look at, the shows on your chart that have much higher numbers for a lot of different things, and figure out why that was a much better show so that it can help you learn how to grow. So that's under analytics. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Let me go back into the show on my computer screen here. And make sure I'm not missing anything. So on the web version, and now on mobile as well, you can sort. Let me show you how to do that. So if you're in a live show and you want to see only the questions that people have put a question mark on. So on a mobile device, so this is my little iPad here. You can just click this little arrow that's above the chat like this, and then it allows you to sort by questions, buyers, mods, and muted. So anything that was muted. Okay. So here's the questions that we've gotten in chat that had a question mark, right? Um, on the web version, it's over here. So I can sort it. Sorry, I'm over here by questions. Okay. Buyers, mods, muted, etc. Okay. So if you didn't know that you could do that, that's a good tool if you're trying to, check and see if you missed any requests or comments that you want to read. And then you can sort through that stuff too. Um, Also, you can, on the web version, go through all the different categories. Oh, and I brought this up last show. A lot of people get confused if someone's payment doesn't go through. So if you see a pop-up when you're selling that says payment failed, um, before you end your show, if you can remember, you can check on the web version screen right here for pending payments. And then if someone's payment still hasn't gone through before the end of the show, it will show up here. Um, or you can check that if someone asks live, did my payment go through? You can just check there. And if there's no pending, you'll assume it went through. Or you can then check under solds to see if it went through. Um, that is confusing sometimes if you end a show and then you're processing your orders and you had something in a bin or marked with a sticker for someone, and then you look and they have no order, or that item is missing from their order. Probably their payment failed and did not get put through before you ended the show. So, and there's really no way after you end the show to see that for sure. So that's kind of annoying. So that's a way to kind of prevent that, is to check in there before you end to see if anyone still has payments pending. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. If you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark. I'm just here chatting with you. Normally, I do a walk and talk, and we're trying to sell our house. So my treadmill is packed away. So I'm just here in my empty sewing room chatting with you today. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. Hopefully, everyone's having a good summer. This is the slow season for sales online, period. So every platform, brick and mortar even, is slower at this time of year than normal because people are vacationing, people are doing outdoor things. It's not the rush yet to back to school shop. And so people are just not shopping as much. And so your sales will typically be slower um, June, July, and August. It starts to pick up about the end of August when people start doing the back to school shopping. The brand of label printer that I use is VEVOR, Vevor. I'll type it in chat. But honestly, just find a thermal label printer on Amazon or another website that has really good reviews and is returnable if it doesn't work. And buy one that uses the generic labels. So don't buy a printer that requires you to buy their brand of labels to work, because there are a few out there that have proprietary labels that you have to use, and then it gets more expensive because you should be able to just buy the fan fold huge packs of good morning field trip quilting of labels through Amazon or eBay or some of the other suppliers where you can buy them in bulk for a lot cheaper instead of having to buy the proprietary ones. So Jaden's is a brand. Apparently, it's works good. Yeah, just look for one that has good reviews and allows you to return it if something doesn't work. Because here's the thing with cheap electronics, their quality control can sometimes be sketchy, and you sometimes will get an electronic. I've had this happen so many times in the last 10 years where you go out and buy a brand new, some type of electronic. You get it home, you plug it in, and the dang thing doesn't even turn on because some little wire came loose from their soldering or something. So make sure it's returnable, so that you don't have the problem of getting one that from the get-go it didn't plug in and work. Okay. So yeah, there's lots of different brands. Just check those things, reviews, and it is returnable if it doesn't work when you get it or stops working within the day or whatever. And uses the generic labels. And thermal printers, I'll be honest with you, from if I could go back to when I first started selling and whatnot, we were just using paper on our laser printer because I already had a laser printer and I already had a ton of paper, and I'm like, I'll just do that. Going back, I would have bought a thermal printer from day one because it just saves you a ton of time, and thermal printer labels um, just last better because you print on paper, and you're using ink. You have to reorder ink, and thermal is just a process where it heats the paper and prints the image on there. They do fade eventually, but they're pretty darn good. Pretty darn good at, not fading if they don't get affected by water getting on there like paper does. So yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that brand too, Munban, however you say it. I have no clue how you say it, but yeah, I've heard of that brand. So yeah, just find one that works. Good. Um, and honestly, oh, here's another key too, is find one that if you don't want to have it plugged in, it has Bluetooth and wireless capability. Because not all of them do. So if you're going to be packing somewhere that you don't want to have to plug that thing in to the computer itself, or you're going to print your labels for mobile or something, um, then get one that is Bluetooth capable, and so it can be wireless. So you don't have to have it plugged into the computer. So that's another tip there too. Um, I didn't get one because they didn't have that when I first got one. So I didn't get a wireless one, but I have mine is situated right next to the laptop when we ship, so it hasn't been a problem for me. But yeah, if that's something you would like, make sure you get that as well. It'll cost you a little bit extra maybe to get the Bluetooth capability, but it'll be worth if you don't want to have it situated close enough to plug into your computer. For sure, for sure. All right. What questions do you have? What are you struggling with? If you're struggling with what everybody else is struggling with right now, which is, just trying to get some people to come to your shows and get enough people to sell some stuff, you're not in bad company. It honestly is just that season. And you just have to keeping on, do the best you can. I will tell you that a curated show makes a big difference. So I've been really lazy, not lazy. I've been really busy trying to pack and clean and do my house. And I haven't been as vigilant about doing more curated shows where I have, advertise them in advance, have a specific thumbnail, have pictures, have videos, et cetera, et cetera. And I did one yesterday where I actually bothered to get a video on there, or didn't bother, managed to get a video on there ahead of time. And it made a big difference because I showed what I was going to sell in advance. And that's what I'm doing as well today. So it does make a difference to have a curated show, have a thumbnail, and Whatnot will tell you that having a thumbnail that actually shows what you're going to sell, like the exact items, is more effective than a really cute AI generated thumbnail. But the problem with that is, how do you get the stuff that you're going to sell set up and looking like something nice in time for you to get it on there for your show and have it long enough? So that's a challenge, right? Because I mean, yeah, you want to show what you're going to sell, but it needs to look nicer than just a heap of stuff, right? So if you sell vintage, you're going to want to have it all displayed nice on your shelf. If you sell fabric, you're going to want to have it nicely stacked or piled and have it on a shelf. So that's the challenge. It's like, okay, great. I want to have real life stuff on my thumbnail. They say that's better, but it's not going to be better if your picture is just a pile of crap. Does that make sense? If people look at it and go, I think I see, some nice stuff in there, but it's just a pile. So that's not attractive, right? So you got to weigh that out and figure out if showing on your picture the actual stuff you're going to sell is good, if only if you can have a really attractive thumbnail that still shows the actual items. Does that make sense? Um, but they have shown that people like that, because then right in the thumbnail, it's like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. This looks amazing. You know what I'm saying? They can see it right there because we're very visual now. That's how we're trained. Everything's like picture, picture, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Our attention span is like that. And we see things and we move on to the next item that quickly. So visual is everything. Having attractive thumbnails. And what I would say makes it a little easier if you can do this is have an attractive thumbnail that you've got on there for a longer period of time. But then in that 24-hour lead up, get a video, because that's when you're closer to having the stuff ready to show anyway. Get it put together nicely somehow and have a video. And then the video is going to show the actual items. Whimsy Shop says, I have trouble keeping people in. I sell pre-owned fabric. Any tips? They will be in for a few seconds and then go. Honestly, consistency is the key, and curated shows, because if you go on and just sell pre-owned fabric and it's just, whatever I have, people don't honestly want to sit through a whole show waiting to see if you have something they want. So a curated show where you've gone through your fabric, and you have a show that says, today I'm going to sell vintage florals. The next day I'm going to sell um, panels. The next day I'm going to sell these estate finds, and it's mostly this kind of stuff. If you curate it, you're going to start getting people coming in and staying specifically because they want those types of things. Seasonal stuff. Have a Halloween show, have a, because that will help draw people for those specific. And then if they like what you have, they're going to keep bookmarking and coming back. Consistency, just doing it. And again, it's the slower season right now, so keep that in mind. It's going to be hard to get an audience and keep an audience if you weren't already established. So yeah, I would do more of that. I mean, you can get really creative. I've seen people do um, a pink. The whole thing is everything has pink in it, and then everybody that loves pink, which is a lot of us, are going to come because they want to see the pink fabrics you have. You can do things like, um, everything is nature or animals, or, so pick something fun. Obviously, you have to have enough of that to justify having a full show for that, but that helps. Because it's just there's too much competition now. When I first started selling, I could get a good audience just sitting there with a pile of fabric, but I was one of three sellers. But now that there's a lot of competition, people don't want to sit through a 3-hour show waiting to see if there's one or two items they want to buy. So you've got to be more specific about what you're going to sell. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah, you can definitely do, a basics, a blenders, a solids, because people ask for solids in every show I have. And unless I happen to have pulled a stack of solids for that show, I'm like, well, yeah, I have solids, but I don't know where they are. So I don't see why not do a solid, maybe have, a thumbnail, do me a solid. Does everyone know what that's from? And do me a solid, right? And then you have solids, and then maybe put it with something else too. So solids and blenders, and do something really cute and creative with your thumbnail so that you get, a specific audience. Now, do remember that if it's more narrowed like that, it does, people who aren't necessarily looking for solids or blenders might not stop in. But yeah. Um, so what Jen says, I put all my solids in my bin. It seems to be going better, and I pull it out to show. Yeah. That's a great idea too. So things that you struggle to sell, on a regular basis, put it in the buy it now, and people will buy it while they're in there if you have something they need. So that's a great idea. Pride Month, rainbow solids or rainbow, yeah, have a rainbow stack in the order of the rainbow of all the solids. Love that. That's a great idea. Um, there's a lot of things that people sell better in the buy it now. I've heard people say they sell panels better by putting them in the buy it now. And I do that a lot too. I have a lot of panels that I put in the buy it now. And and I do feature them sometimes when I have them in there, just so that people know they're in there. Because not everybody always goes and looks to see what's in the bin. So when you have some nice items in your buy it now, show them during the show, pull them up, and then flash sell them, and you're going to sell some. So that helps a lot too. So really think through, you know, Go watch other people's shows and watch what other people do to get some ideas. You don't have to exactly copy other sellers, but it will help you get some ideas of what you can do to be a better seller. Do you know if there's a limit to the amount of flash sales you can run at once? Not that I know of, um, but when I've been trying to run flash sales before I go live, it's not working right now. So let me see if but I've been able to go in and put like my entire bin on flash sale before I even start the show. So I don't think there's any limit that you can run all at once. But for some reason, when they did that last update with listings, has anyone been able to start flash sales before they go live? Because I used to be able to do that and I can't right now. I have one line I've been trying to flash sale about 30 SKUs, but it gives people so many issues. Is it all in one listing and then the SKUs are the different? Is that the problem? Is that they're trying to check out of one listing and pick the item? Like some won't see the sales, won't let people add, some people can add. Oh, it's all different listings. Is that just recently that that's been happening, or was it always a problem? Because with that latest update, I think there's a lot of glitches just the last few weeks. Okay. Send me a message with a video. Take a screen. You know how to do a screen record, right? Screen record for me some of the things that are happening, because then I can report it with a screen record and it helps them be able to go in and fix it better. Because that's glitchy, obviously. So, yeah, because then I can report it that way and it'll be more effective to show. Because typically, when I report something, they're always asking for screen records so that they can see exactly where something's going wrong. So, do that for me. Yeah, anytime you see anything really glitchy or weird that you're like, this doesn't make sense, um, you can send me a message with the specifics. And if you'll screen record it, I can report it that way. And it usually is more effective at them getting in there and getting it fixed if it is a glitch. But I reported the flash sale thing because you used to be able to go in before your show started and get the flash sales started. And I liked to do that because, it takes time, hot minute to get in there and get them started. And I would rather start them before the show goes live if there's ones that I want running in the background. And I can't do that right now. So for some reason, let me just see right now while we're live if it lets me do something on a future show, like for my show later today. I'm just going to check that and see because let's see, I've got to get another window open though here. All right, so for later today, my show later today, I'm going to open it on my screen and I'm going to attempt to start a flash sale. So I'm going to the buy it now. Yeah, see that the option isn't even there for me. So I'm in my show that's later today, and I tried to start the flash sale on this item. It's letting me pin it, but there's a flash sale set up on this item because if I edit it and go in there, I can see that um, the flash sale is set up. Well, it is normally, but look, flash sale's not even turned on in here. Oh, interesting. But if I go in on mobile on this item, let's see. So you could not start your flash sales over the weekend. Yeah. So if I go in on that item right now, on mobile, it is definitely set up for flash sales. So let's see if it'll let me. Yeah, it's not even letting me do it on here. Let me see if I edit. Because I have a flash sale on this item. It's turned on, but it's not even letting me run it from here right now. Super annoying. Let me turn it off, turn it back on. Okay, so now it shows that it can be done, but it's still not giving me the option to run the flash sale. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, flash sales are messed up right now. Well, that's annoying. Let me see if it'll let me do it on here. Oh, so in this live show right now on my web version, it is giving me the option. So I just started that one. So that's my trading card that was my first item listed. So you can see that one is now running on flash sale. But on my show that's scheduled later today, it wouldn't let me do that. So interesting, right? It never works for you. The flash sales never work. Were they working before the latest update though? Because that, and the other thing is that it's not showing me the time. When I click this, did it run for 30 seconds, 10 seconds? I don't know. Is it still on flash sale? Let me see what the timeline is on it. Yeah, this is a mess. Because now it's showing it's turned off again. So, yeah, it's turned off. It turned it back off. So it didn't even save my flash sale. Okay, annoying. That's all I have to say. I'm going to report it again. So, yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. It says it's awaiting price reveal. Yeah, but right. And yet I set it so that it would be available for full price outside of the flash sale. And and right now it's not even letting me edit it. It's showing it's still on flash sale for an hour and 58 minutes. Um, are you guys seeing it on your screen as available to buy? And right now on my screen, it shows it has a button that says start flash sale, but on my web version, it shows that it's already on there running. See, look. So here's web version. Here's my trading card. See how it has a time on there and says it's at $9? And that's what it shows down here. But on my mobile device, it is showing start flash sale as if it's not running. So let me click that again. And then when I click start flash sale on mobile, it says failed to start a timed event. An existing timed event for the listing is running or scheduled. But are you guys not able to buy that? Does it show a buy now on your screen? Like if you go to that item, you're not able to buy. Okay, see, so it's totally messed up. So it shows buy now and the clock is running in the bin. But if you go in the bin, So if you click on my shop and go in the buy it now, are you able to buy it? It says waiting price rebuilt. Yeah, so this is totally messed up. Totally messed up. How annoying. We're losing money every second on here because people can't buy the flash sales. Huh? All right, let me unpin it and see if that changes. So now go into the buy it now and someone click the shop and um, it's the first item that shows up. Are you able to buy it now? I mean, does it have a buy button? I don't want anyone to have to buy it. I'm just asking. So you have an entire show shut up on flash sale for the end of the week. So I'm changing it all today. Yeah, because that's if it's not going to work, then that's not going to be good. I was able to run the ones in my show a couple of days ago, but I didn't run any flash sales yesterday. But I did have a couple of people buy bin items for full price, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that I didn't even check to see if I could run the flash sales. So, like right now, what I'm seeing on mobile is this. So it shows it's running. Does it have a buy button where you can actually buy it right now on your end? Because see how it shows the time? Let me just see if it does. Let me see if it will run that one. No, that one will not run. Let me see if I can run it from web. All right, I'm going to start the flash sale on the fat quarters. Let's see what that does. So I just started the fat quarters. It tells me save and notify. Ugh, yeah, this is super annoying. So the fat quarters that I just started, it says it's pinned, but does it allow you to buy it? Oh, because here's what it's showing now on web version that it's on flash sale. Start the flash sale. Start flash sale. It's doing nothing. Look at that. It's just like clicks but does nothing. Wow. And then over here, it shows it's pinned, but it doesn't look like you can buy it. So if I unpin it, all right. But see, this one doesn't even show that it's starting. So it's not letting me run multiple items on Flash. Wow. All right. So I'll take some screenshots of this and send it in because this is really frustrating. Really frustrating. I can buy now in the shop, but not on the link on the bottom. So no buy button. Oh, so if you go into the shop though, it will let you buy either it has a buy button. All right, thank you, Laura. If you can, yeah, if you guys can send me screenshots of what you're seeing, then I can send those in and show that the whole flash sale thing is totally glitching. And we're losing money big time by not being able to run those effectively. Okay, I will send it in. All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I probably should get going here. Got to get to the post office, finish getting my show set up, put some makeup on so I don't scare everyone in my shows, all that good stuff. Eat some breakfast, maybe. Yesterday, I had no breakfast and I was pretty grumpy. All right. Thanks, everyone. Let's go find someone to raid. If you find these shows helpful, I don't know. I mean, until I get my treadmill back and up, I'll just come on and chat like this. And if they're helpful for you, come. Let me know if it's not very helpful and I need to improve and have something more specific. But until I get my treadmill, this is what I'm kind of doing. We will have our monthly themed show that is the community sports show. I don't have it scheduled for July yet because they haven't given us a topic. But yeah, I'll get that scheduled for July. And thanks, everyone. You always learn something. Well, that's good. That's good. All right. Thanks, everyone. Let me go find someone we can raid into. We'll go raid into Fabric. How about, let's see. See, do I see someone on Sapphire Stitchery is on 4th Ave. Fabrics is on, let's do 4th Ave. They've rated me before. Here we go. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Make it a great day. And I will get